I believe that 2018 will be the year of stabilization and tweaking.
Oh my god. I fucking hate zombies in this goddamn game. It's like, let's have them fucking slide across the entire goddamn map and hit you 3 times in one swing.
Yep. I'm behind somebody.
I'm fucking knocked out. I'm gonna die. You know, when they said they wanted to
reach the beta and 1.0 this year,
I thought for sure they were going to miss the deadline and announce another delay. It had become so common at this point that the possibility of it leaving early access in 2018, it didn't even cross my mind. I was just so used to delays and broken promises. But here we are. And now, we have something that is debatably worse than keeping the game in early access. We have a version of DayZ that claims to be 1.0, but it is near identical to the version of 0.63 beta that we've had for weeks now. And 0.63 was shit. I made that very clear earlier this year. Let's cover the changes that actually came with the release of this patch. I mean, it can't be all bad. Look at all these features. That's a lot of new shit, right? Well, 23 of these features were already in the game at one point or another. So, cross off all those. And the only one that I know for sure that is 100% brand new are the HUD changes for the icons, which look worse than the ones in 6.3. They look like fucking mobile game icons now. And a few other changes that I guess could be different. I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen it myself, or the changes are so minimal that you wouldn't be able to notice it at first glance, are the anti-cheat changes, the zombie changes, which zombies change every fucking patch. Usually for the worse, but who knows. They seem just as bad to me for what I've seen. Actually, no. I think they might be a little bit worse this patch. It's crazy how I can go from 13 FPS in the woods to 35 in the fucking road and back to 15 at a time.
Maybe
so
you actually gave me a get. Well, I thought you were fucking memeing.
Try to restore your Steam and verify your files.
Zombie AI, by the way. And the new map changes, which I haven't fully explored myself. A better list to look at would be the features that were promised but are still missing with this patch. This includes things like shooting from vehicles, night vision goggles, helicopters, planes, some new cars, and some new guns. Well, all broken promises that didn't come with this initial patch. An even better list than that are the features that were actually removed from the game, like over a dozen guns that have been in the game for years, up until, I think, 6.3, and they weren't added back in. A few cars that have been in and out of the game since 2015 when they were first introduced, ragdolls, broken legs, bear traps, tripwire fishing, all kinds of shit like that are just straight up gone. Like, the full release of this game, the 1.0 patch that marks being out of early access and early development, has less content in it than previous versions of the game. Let that sink in for a moment. Alright, so for a 1.0 patch, it's not that great. It's kind of disappointing, underwhelming, but hey, it's almost the same as the beta patch, which means that the update will be small, and we can quickly hop back in game without issue, right? No. What the fuck did you... What is wrong with you? Did you forget what kind of game we're playing and who was developing it? Of course Bohemia would release the patch with the wrong version of DayZ.exe, causing major frame issues for all players. I mean, this was fixed, but still, it's been a week since the update came out, a little bit more than a week actually, and there are still some major game-breaking bugs that are in place. The most important bug, in my opinion, is the hit registration issue. Hit reg issues have been a part of shooters, and it's not uncommon to see in, popular shooters like PUBG, Counter-Strike, Siege, whatever like that. But this shit takes it to a whole new level. This is straight up firing ghost bullets at people. Just look at this.
Blue with a red bandana.
What the fuck is wrong with this game? I was shooting ghost bullets.
I got. Shit. What the fuck is this shit?
These bullets are going straight through people, in a game where the only thing to do, still, even with the 1.0 fucking release, is to spawn in, loot up a little bit, shoot people, and die, with a little bit of survival shit in between. This is a major issue that should be of the highest priority to fix, and it's unacceptable for it to be around. Another very important bug, but one that is almost as equally detrimental, are the issues with persistence. One of the headlining features that was added with beta was the ability to use base building, something that people have been asking for since 2013. It's before then, even with the Armor 2 mod. And when it was added in beta, it had a ton of issues, including issues where on server restart or server crash, your base would just not be there or on there, or parts of it, large chunks of it would just be missing, like the walls and the gates. and all that shit. And at 1.0, you still got the same problem, but it's much worse because it's happening much more often. I mean, the feature that was supposed to add something else to do besides spawn, die, repeat, like I mentioned earlier, you know, build a base, have a community, defend it, all that shit, you know, like Rust or any other fucking competent survival game, it doesn't even work properly. After all these weeks of bug reports and evidence from the beta, it still doesn't fucking work. Cars, or a car, is finally back in the game after months, and it has a history of being in and out of the game over the years, and those times that it has been in the game, it's usually been pretty fucking garbage to drive, and have really just been riddled with problems. And this version in 1.0 is, I don't think it's the worst, but it's definitely really fucking dog shit. It's been years for Bohemia to get these simple vehicles right. I mean, they have tons of other games, like Arma, okay? Arma has kind of choppy vehicles, but they work. You know, they're doable, and they can't even do that right. They can't even fucking get it right. Look at this.
6, 7,
I'm
8,
not
9,
driving
10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh, it just died, so...
It literally... Oh god, it's on fire.
Oh,
What the fuck? Oh! What's going on?
that was not good.
Wait, I think we're good.
The new server browser just straight up doesn't work. The filters and search bar don't change anything, and the only way I'm able to join a server I want to play on is if I find a friend on Steam who's already on it, and I have to join them through that. Or I can press the play button from the main menu if it's like my second time or whatever, join the server that day. But that's it. That's the only way to actually join the server you want, unless you want to spend minutes upon minutes just looking through the catalog of public or community servers to find it. The old one was simple. It wasn't much to it, but it fucking worked at least. I could actually type in a fucking IP or name and get the result I wanted. One of my favorite bugs, which I don't think applies to all the servers, but it applies to the one I play on mostly, and it's just really funny and retarded, is the one where if you spawn in a clown mask, everyone in the proximity, I think it's like 200 meters or so, wherever you can render it with, their game just crashes. And as long as that mask's on the ground, anyone who gets within range of that mask to render, their game will just crash too. Like, it's so random and so fucking retarded that I can't help but laugh at it. I almost forgot. Make it so you spawn in with a character you want is still a fucking mess, and it still doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Once again, this transferred over from beta. The only way to get the character you want is to join the server first, die, then exit out without respawning, customize that character, and then rejoin the server. That's still the only way you can get the fucking character model you want. Every time you either join a new one, or you die in the same one. It's really fucking stupid. I don't understand how it's still broken. Knowing all this, can you really say that DayZ is out of early access? This game now has less content than it did in previous patches, and many of that content are just features that were in the game for years, and now are just gone. The launch day had a bug, a game-breaking bug that made it unplayable, where your frames were just divided by fucking 5 or some shit. Like, it was really bad. Even for people with really good PCs, they'd noticed significant drops. And even now, after that fix, it's been, I think, 8 days, and it's still plagued with many serious and game-breaking bugs. Bohemia has once again unfulfilled promises they've made over the years, and shown they either have the worst development team in gaming, or they just don't give a shit. Still, I think the answer is simple. This game is not finished, and it is still an early access game. It's so similar to beta, in fact, that without the new server browser or UI changes, it would have looked like the exact same game when you launched it on the 13th, and you would have thought, it was a minor update, a little hotfix, until you walked forward about 5 paces and you noticed a giant frame drop. The only reason this game is considered finished is because if the game reached the 5-year mark of being in early access, which it was 3 days shy of reaching, by the way, it would have faced even worse backlash than all the times before. And there's a good chance that the backlash would have been so bad that the game would have been taken off Steam for being in early access for so long and not fulfilling the promises. And if it got taken off Steam, the game would be dead for good. So don't be fooled by the articles that talk about the full release, or the major player spike that came with the free weekend, and the hype of a fully released game, quote unquote. The only real change is the version number in the corner. I've played this game way too much. And a lot of this time was on a roleplay server, because I'm a fucking faggot, I guess. And it's gotten to the point where I just don't want this game to succeed anymore. I want it to die. I don't think a game this shit, with developers these awful, deserve to do well. because it will serve as an example that no matter how god-awful your product is, no matter how lazy you are developing it, no matter how many promises you break, no matter how long you spend in early access, all it takes is a few years and a rabid fan base that will defend you like their life depends on it, and eventually, you'll get the success you want. If DayZ does well, the only people that will suffer in the long run are the consumers, and the early access genre will only get worse than it already is. This can't happen. This game must fail.